Welcome to Clean Cut Conversations, the podcast for exceptional Southern Black men. Join us as we delve into vital topics, including mental health, relationships, finance, self-care, and entrepreneurship. Welcome to Clean Cut Conversations, the podcast for exceptional Southern Black men. I'm your host, Josh Lever, with my co-host.
Your boy, Royce Masson-Gill, baby.
And we have a special guest in the building. But before we get into that, let's cover the topics that we will be discussing today. We'll be talking about early influences and local challenges in Nashville, transition and growth in Nashville's music scene, the evolution of Nashville's urban music scene, and the future outlook and industry trends in Nashville. But without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce Capo, the entrepreneur, businessman, media mogul around here. Let's give him a round of applause.
Get it up.
Yes. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Man. So, Capo, man, let me ask you, do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on that you would like to share?
Oh, wow, man. We have a lot of up-and-coming projects that we're working on. Some of it I can't really speak on just yet because the ink hasn't dried. But a lot of tours coming up, a lot of shows. We got Twister coming up October 3rd at the Basement East. Looking at some more colleges. We just did SAE with Drummer Boy. We did the block party at SAE. Nice. But yeah, man, a lot of stuff in the works.
Nice. So
now, and there's one.
No, go ahead. Go.
And I don't mean to interrupt you,
go ahead.
But we're also working on a very big project for the city. And I don't want to get too into it. And I know I'll have to come back when it's finalized.
Please do.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be something really, really big for the city, man. And it's gonna be a musical project, but it's also there's visual aspects to it as well. And we've got a lot of really, really big people behind it to really support and shine a light on the Nashville hip hop community. It's overlooked so much, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we're competing with country, which is kind of impossible right now because of how much they're generating for the market.
Right.
And everyone's always thinking, it's like when it comes to hip hop, go to Memphis, go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Don't think about Nashville. Let's keep Nashville country. But we've got a lot of really, really big people involved in this project to kind of start changing that narrative and just shining a light on the culture here because it's been overlooked so long.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm so glad to hear that because we talked about that so long. You know what I mean? So I'm proud of that. I can't wait to see what happens, man. Just for the fact of coming together, period.
Right.
Yeah, and it is. It's a lot of unity within this project. A lot of. I don't want to give too much away, but there's, from every walk of life within the culture and, like some of the old school artists, some of the new school artists, some artists that you may never have thought would work together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of division within the city. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the the overall objective is not only to build awareness for the hip hop culture, but also to start uniting some of us. I hear that a lot. Like everyone's always talking about how we don't connect and build, and so this, well, I mean, and it's we can get into that.
But it was all out of
more.
love, though.
Yeah, but it's definitely this project is gonna be one of those things that really unites the community in a major way.
Oh man, it seems like Nashville has just grown drastically throughout the years. Because I was telling you off the camera, man, I looked up to y'all. The whole crew, Delano and then Charles Robinson.
Yeah.
I really looked up to, and then you were in the light of things. And I love the way you moved. And are you originally from here?
No, I'm a Army brat, so
Same here.
Okay, dope.
Same here.
So I spent my life just every 3 to 4 years, kind of new location.
Right.
So I actually moved to Tennessee from Seoul, Korea. And we were stationed. My pops was out in Korea.
Okay.
I got into some trouble, got deported, and had to come back here. My aunt lived in Clarksville, so I had to go live with my aunt. And that's kind of how I started my roots here, man. That was 98. So yeah.
So that kind of explains how you being an Army brat. I can't say I'm an Army brat, I was the rebel. I didn't really. I was
You're
everybody
an
else
army
went.
brat.
Yeah.
he was a rebel too, but he's still an army brat.
So it also I mean it also means that you have to adapt to whatever environment you're in.
Yes.
And I see that's coming here, like being settled around in here. I've known that I'm pretty sure you've had to adapt everywhere you went. You know. So like, what was that like for coming here from Nashville and this hip hop scene as a Latino at that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how has that been? How has the hip hop scene influenced you and made you get into what you're doing now?
Well, I mean, one, like, being Latino, I mean, I feel like, being Latino and hip hop kind of goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the way back to when they had the block party in the Bronx,
Cool
like there
Herc
was
and all that.
with Cool Herc, exactly, and that was there was Latinos present. You know what I'm saying? So, and ever since then, Latinos have played a key role in hip hop, and just ever since I can remember, man, like hip hop was. I was engulfed by hip hop. My two older brothers were break dancers, so they were always break dancing, and I would sit there and listen to the break beats and watch them break out the cardboard, and, you know what I'm saying, like for hours. And then they kind of transitioned from there to like DJing. So when they would go out to the clubs, I would sneak in their room and like start going through the records. And that scene on NWA where like Dre wakes up and the music, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of like, that's kind of what I did, you know what I'm saying? So like I would fall asleep. My brothers would come home from the club. They were like, hey, bro, like wake up, dog. Like you got to go to school. And I'd be sitting there with the headphones on, the record still playing and stuff. Like, but yeah, like I feel like hip hop has always been a part of my life, man. And it's put food on the table. It's fed my family. It's given me an outlet. It's given me a way to get out of this trouble. It's gotten me in trouble as well. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
we don't gotta mention that.
But yeah, I mean, my mom's got this picture of me as like, I think I'm like 3 years old and I'm sitting on the couch with some headphones on, like next to a record player and listening to music, you know what I'm saying? So music, not only hip hop, but music like all around in general, just like raised me, you know what I'm saying? Like it played that role in my life. Sometimes it was my babysitter, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes everyone else had things to do and they're like, yo, just here, go listen to this, go sit down and, go through the records. And I'd sit there and just, digest and sit there and break down all the lyrics. And man, it's always been key in my life, man. Like I think ever since I was young to even today, like hip hop is every day in my life.
Wow. So let me ask you something. Like being a military brat.
Yeah.
Even for my brother, he says when we came from Turkey. So he was born in the Philippines.
Okay.
And my mom's Filipino. So
Okay.
Yeah. So I was born in Zaragoza, Spain.
Got you.
So we've been to Korea too.
Okay.
Like
what part?
I think I forgot what base it is, but I wasn't.
Was it Army or?
Oh, my dad's Air Force.
Air Force. Okay. So I think maybe Busan, maybe.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably around there. And he said when he came here, it's funny. I think we came in '96. You came in '98.
Yeah.
So like there was a big snowstorm here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was during that time.
Okay.
So like he was saying, like being a military brat, traveling all over to the schools and the diversity that he embraced. He said when he came here to Tennessee, because we went to Manchester, right? We went to Manchester. He said it was such a cultural shock, to see the black and white and just the indifference.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was amazing to me, man. Like, one, the culture shock was like, I moved from Seoul, Korea, which is like New York City, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's, I mean, we're buildings, like one of our sports and things we did on like just to kill time was like jumping from building to like the rooftop and running like on Juice, how they ran.
I was
like,
doing that parkour.
Yeah, but the buildings were closed. I'm not gonna make it seem like we're. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it
now. But yeah, like that's the type of lifestyle we live. Like we would hang out on the roofs. My brothers would set up their DJ equipment, and you know what I'm saying? Like it was like New York City pretty much because it was a huge city, and so coming back here, I moved to Clarksville, and like I remember it was just so quiet, Like I couldn't sleep at night because it was so quiet, and I would have to like turn the TV on, and I'd put like just to have noise going because I was so used to always hearing stuff, cars and people yelling and dogs barking. You know what I'm saying? Like all through the night, and that's how I slept. So when I got here, that was like one huge culture shock for me. But then, like you said, man, going to the schools and like was like, whoa, what like what is going on, man? And because there was like when I first got there, I remember a group of Latino kids came, or Mexican kids, they came to me and they're like, hey, at lunch, bro, you come hang out with us. And I'm like, cool, you know, like that's I didn't think nothing of it, you know. And I met another kid in one of my classes, and you know, he was a black kid, came up and we're talking, chopping it up. He's talking about some new album he had or something. I was like, yeah. So I was like, hey, bro, come eat lunch with us. You know what I'm saying? Because he was new too. He just moved from Oakland. So he was kind of, he had that culture shock going on as well. So I'm like, me and him kind of clicked on that, you know. And so he came to the lunch table, and I'm sitting there. I brought him with me, and everyone's kind of looking like, you know. And so after lunch, they're like, hey, bro, like don't bring him around no more. I was like, why, man? It's like, nah, we Mexican, bro. We all stick together. And I was like, oh, like, yo, is this real? You know, but I got it. You know, like I understood, like, okay, because there was a very small amount of us in this school. And it was like, we all have to stick together. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to, but I was never that type to where because I grew up on military base where it's everyone, you know, and there's so many mixed cultures and races. And so I could never really wrap my head around that, you know? And yeah, so, that was just like the biggest shock to me, man. I'm like, I can't. And I told him, I was like, bro, like, I'm not with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got to, if I'm going to come around, I'm going to have homies. And I don't care if they're black, Asian, white, whatever. It's like, if you don't like it, then you don't kick it with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I have to say, too, man, let me say this. Being a military brat, being a military, being a military brat is a skin color itself.
Wow, I like that.
Go ahead, talk your stuff. Go ahead.
It is. No, what he just explained, because we're so diverse, it's like, okay, we can say black and white mulatto, you know, and then we got rid of that term, you know, the kids. But in the end, it's a skin color, bro. That's why we can't fit in.
Yeah, that's real.
It's because it's a skin color. Like you even
camouflage skin color. I mean, because it's all.
I mean,
because when it all falls down, I mean, the symbolism I get in that with, you know, being in the military, whatever you said, that being so diverse, is that the message it tells me is that at the end of the day, we gotta fight with each other. We live in the same house, basically, America. We live in the same house. We might as well fight together.
I got a story for that. So like when I lived in Korea, they were having these big riots, right? So like all these riots off base, and they were telling all the kids that went to school, they were like, you know, if you live off base or you have to walk, because there was another base called Hanam Village, that's where it was just housing, right? So some people lived on Yongsan, or our schools were on Yongsan. We'd have to walk from there to Hanam Village. So you have to go off base. I lived in Itaewon, which was like right in the middle of both of these places. So they would tell us, you'd get to the gate and they would be like, hey, wait for a minute for more Americans to come, and everyone walk together. Okay. It wasn't like, wait for more Mexicans, or wait for more Latinos, wait for another black guy. You know what I'm saying? It was like, nah, bro. It's like you get there and everyone's American. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, all right, so we all walk as a group, and if anything happens, we all gotta watch each other's back. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we would. You know what I'm saying? You walk out the gate, everyone's walking together. You look out for each other, and one person's like, all right, I'm right here, bro. All right, peace, man. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? And that right there made me look at it totally different, because over there is no color like that, man. It's we're all one, and we're trying to get to the same place. We all have the same objective: make it home safe. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, that's a crazy story when you said that. It's like, you know, it blurs those lines, man. You don't really see that stuff.
That's true.
Wow. So let me ask you, like, let's step into like the hip hop scene, like. Before stepping into the entertainment world, what was the hustle like for you, considering that in the early 2000s, Latino representation in Nashville's music industry, right, was very minimal? Like, how did you navigate those challenges?
There was no Latino representation except me. Like
Talking.
just to be real, there was none.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like there was none really.
I can't recall it.
Yeah. So like I was pushing as an artist at the time. When I got here, I was pushing as an artist. I was still young, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a teenager, and I'm just my homie. Well, actually, my brother taught me how to rap, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm still practicing. I'm in class, just writing rhymes and all that stuff, and I get here, I meet some other guys that are doing music, and they have a studio, and so we connect. And but yeah, like one of the guys was Asian. He was Laotian or Laos, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then my other homie was Cambodian. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there was so many different cultures going on, but we all loved hip hop. We all united over that. Yeah. And there was no representation, and that's why I took it on myself to really unite the community. Because we're overlooked in Nashville. We're still overlooked. Like there is a lot of Latino rappers and singers, and just industry. From graphic artists to designers, all types of Latinos within the Nashville community that are never recognized. And that's why we took it upon ourselves. We started a movement called 615, and we did a music video. It's called 615, Cashville Latino Anthem. And we went and took a handful of Latino artists. We all jumped on one track. Did a video to it. Charles Robinson shot the video.
Shout out to Charles.
Shout out.
And Epidemic produced it, and and that was us uniting. You know what I'm saying? And that really caught a wave amongst the community. And that's one thing I'm all about, man, is really supporting my people and trying to just be something to where other Latinos within the community can look and say, oh, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Right here, especially here. You see it in New York, LA, Texas. It's like it's huge.
Right
here in Tennessee, it's like where are the Latinos? You know what I'm saying? But you go down Nolensville Road.
Oh, you see them all, and in Laverne.
Laverne. I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And my kids, both my kids, the school they go to is predominantly Hispanic, and that's rare. Like you couldn't see that 10, 15 years ago. It's like that wasn't happening. You know what I'm saying? And so now it's starting to become, the norm. And I love it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's what's needed. We need more representation. And now there's some really, really talented artists coming out of Nashville that I'm excited about, man. Like that are gonna really do some major things. Some of them are even talking to labels.
Yeah.
Some of them are already in talks with labels and big platforms and have the industry's eyes on them. And Nashville doesn't even know they're here.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? Nashville doesn't even know they're here, man.
When you say Nashville, what Nashville do you speak of?
All of Nashville, because it's like the urban community, the country community.
Okay.
If you're not within the Latino community, most likely you don't know these guys exist.
I dig it.
Oh wow,
you know what I'm saying? So and the messed up part of it is like some people might be like, well, it's Spanish. They're probably speaking in Spanish, so we don't understand. We don't know. How would we know that?
Yeah.
Some of them aren't even speaking Spanish. Some of them are doing English projects and making a lot of noise and doing really good stuff, man. So I'm really happy for that because it's come a long way, and it's due time, man. Like it's really needed.
So do you see any more features or any more future projects with Black and Latinos working together here in Nashville?
Right now. That's I told you about it in the beginning. We're not gonna get too deep into it, but you're gonna see.
We can't even wet the paper. Can't we? We can't even do that.
You're gonna see, bro. Like it's
Black Tino record coming soon.
yeah,
baby.
Yep. Latinos, But for real, man. It's one of those things where it's across the board. It's the country artists and that whole realm of the music industry within Nashville. everyone is coming on board for this, and we're all gonna kind of pitch in and do something really special, man, to where it's time to get everyone kind of that recognition that's deserved, man. There's so much talent in Nashville, man. There's so much talent. And I feel like certain sections kind of just pay attention to that side, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. You're only aware of what you're aware of. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know anything past this area, like, I've never been on that side of the city, so I don't know what's going on over there. I feel like at this point in time, if you're not paying attention or if you're not looking for it, it's like you're not really within this culture, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much bubbling. Right. There's so many people out here moving. But then again, it is kind of hard to weed through it because there is so much. It is so oversaturated.
So let me ask you, because on your Instagram, you're known as Concrete Capo.
Yeah.
So, we're not going to go elaborate too far on this one. But like, we
can talk about it all, bro. I'm here for it.
All right. So my question right here on when it comes to new ventures, trials, and rebranding. So let's talk about Concrete, right? Okay. So Concrete Magazine, how did it help you build your own platform and agency? And what was the evolution like for you? Because Nashville's hip-hop industry in 2024, as of this year, experienced a 35% increase in independent labels. So I didn't know that. So I had to do my research. So
now with that, are those labels that are they just like what, LLCs? Like people saying that they have a label? Because there's a ton of those, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone's got a label. How many of those labels are actually putting music out and making traction? But I mean, to go back to your question, that's a whole nother subject.
So like how did Concrete, because you still carry that name, Concrete Capo, on Instagram.
Facts.
So like, why? Because I mean,
a lot of people ask me that, bro. Like, why do you still have that? And I don't know. One, I think is I keep that name because I'm solid. Like I do solid business. I don't even look at it to where it's like the magazine, but it does cross over. I'm a solid individual. I never want to do anybody dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like my thing is like, it gets around fast. This industry's small. Not only that, that's something you got to live with when you do people wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a strong believer in karma. So I like to do what's right. I like to do right by people. That's how I, continuously stay afloat and continuously do business. But as far as Concrete, man, like it played a huge role in what I'm doing today, and it ended abruptly, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing, like the owner of Concrete Magazine, Brian Dees, gave me a call one day and just out of the blue was like, we're not putting out another issue. And I had already started working on another issue, you know what I'm saying? So, and this is like a few weeks before Christmas. And I'm like, yo, like, what am I going to do, dog? And so that transition that you were talking about was extremely difficult. Was scary, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he, on the phone, he told me, he's like, man, you're Capo, bro. You'll be all right. And that kind of, I mean, just to be real, kind of pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm gonna be all right. Like, I got kids to feed, bro. He was right though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I thank him for that. You know what I'm saying? And I always thank him because he gave me an opportunity. Way back, I think it was like 2007, 2008. And I was actually moving as an artist, and one of my homies got a situation with an independent label. We were on tour, you know what I'm saying? And what's funny is I actually advertised my album in Concrete Magazine. And they reviewed my album in Concrete Magazine, right? So that's how I ended up knowing the guys. And I remember one day we were on tour with Jeezy and Jim Jones, Fat Joe, Lil Wayne, Birdman, a bunch of guys, and we had a tour bus. We were parked right behind Lil Wayne, and the bus opens, and I walk out, and the owner of the magazine's walking this way, and I'm walking. Boom, we bump into each other. And he's like, "What you doing here, man?" And so I kind of broke it down, and he's like, "Man, I see you moving around and stuff." He's like, "Let's chop it up." So from there, that's I ended up just doing street team for him and like distribution and distributing the magazine. And then that went to selling ads.
Yeah.
Then that went to like editorial work. And then that went to taking over as the editor-in-chief and kind of just running the whole thing. He stepped away from it. And I ran it for, almost 12 years.
Would you say that so I would say, and so cool, that's a nice brief thing about, the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say with the transition now that you have, with audio meds, and then you have your own, small acts agency,
Mm-hmm.
which you saying, like, my dad used to say this, funny that you say about the acts. You said even with a small axe, you can still chop the tree down. And my dad would always
small
say,
axe and still cut down a big tree. Yeah.
My dad would always say, he said, son, just keep chopping that tree.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter how small, just keep chopping. Eventually it's gonna fall down. So would you say that transition to what you're at now with this platform that you have now, you're doing these events, you're doing audio meds, I would say A&R and management and stuff like that with the agency. Would you say that Concrete kind of helped a little bit, just kind of usher in with all the artists that you've met and stuff like that? Or
I would say
was this a clean do-over?
No, it definitely wasn't a clean do-over. You know what I'm saying? Like
Gotcha.
it was one of those things where Concrete Magazine put me in a lot of places that I probably wouldn't have got into myself, like just as an artist or whatever I was doing at the time. But while I was with Concrete Magazine, I was doing projects. I was releasing mixtapes and compilation albums.
Yeah.
I was throwing all types of events. I was doing the Industry Insiders. I was doing the Urban Music Challenge. I was doing shows, bringing artists in town and booking big venues and promoting concerts. So I was already starting to do that stuff while I was with Concrete. And honestly, I think that's kind of why, the owner was like, you know what? He's like, you got a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And he felt like it was just time, especially, COVID hit and it was like, so it was like we couldn't do physical magazines at the time. There was a lot of variables, you know what I'm saying? So, but I felt like it helped me get into certain places, meet certain people. But I feel like my character is what established those relationships because I was never a lot of people, a lot of people think I owned Concrete Magazine. A lot of people,
I did too.
A lot of people did. So, and so with that being said, is like, the owner of the magazine interviewed tons of people.
Yeah.
Right. But when I interviewed people, I would take that extra step to make sure I kept that relationship, you know, and then I would do certain things like I do an interview with you. All right, well, let me book you now for something else. Like let's make some money together. And then I start making money with them, and then they're hitting me up like, hey, what else can we do? Or as soon as I text them or call them, they're picking up immediately because they know I'm about business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So definitely it opened some doors for me. But I feel like I was already, whether I was with the magazine or not, I was on my way. Before I got with the magazine, I was already touring with, like I said, Jeezy and all them. My producer I was working with, we were going down to Atlanta, working with Jagged Edge. We were working with DJ Drama and Don Cannon. He was in the studio making beats for Akon. Like, there was all kinds of... We were in the mix, you know what I'm saying, at all times. So it was one of those things where it was like, we're going to get there somehow. We're going to get our foot in the door. Once I get my foot in the door, I'm opening it up for everyone else. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you something. Once you put your foot in the door, with all this going on, how did you manage to keep family at the center of it all? Like,
well, family's first over everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really a difficult task because, when anything comes about, I put my wife and my kids before everything. You know what I'm saying? So, but it does become a juggle. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to learn how to juggle and just understand that you probably aren't gonna have a lot of time on your hands. You know what I'm saying? Like I have four daughters, and I have elementary, middle school, high school, and college
levels.
So yeah, man, and it's definitely it's it keeps you busy, man. It keeps you extremely busy.
You got 4 girls?
4 girls.
Oh yeah, God set you down. He said, "I'm gonna give you 4 of them.
I like
Sit
that.
down somewhere."
Wow.
My man said, guys.
I was thinking myself, but like it's just crazy, man. Like when you're doing and you're involved in all these other projects, and you still keep your family solid. Well, I just admire that because, like I was telling him, like when you see a lot of single guys, no like kids, no children, and they're like, I can't make it. I can't do this. It's like, nah, dude, you got a time management issue.
No, that's real. That's real.
So time management is like your key for you. Like everything.
Yeah, and I thank my wife for that, bro. Like my wife is like helped me organize and get on point. And not only that, it's like I do it every day for my family. So the joy of it is like knowing that I get to go do this for my family. So if I'm not doing it, it's like, what else am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So I gotta do it for them. Right. And before I was doing other things that weren't productive and weren't they were just gonna put me in the grave, you know what I'm saying? Or put me behind bars. So it's like now that I've gotten the opportunity to get out of that life and be able to feed my family and support my kids and be there with them, that's the biggest part to me is like, I want to be present at all times. Like we'll do tours. I'll go to Louisville or Birmingham or Atlanta. We'll do a concert and immediately after the show, I jump on the road, drive home because I want to be there when my kids wake up so I can drive them to school. And that's my thing. It's like I want to make sure I'm there for them. Yeah. They don't need to miss out on me. Don't get me wrong. There's times that I just can't. Right. I'm too far away or, certain things like that. And they have to understand, that helps them build character as well because it instills, the sense of like, sacrifice. You got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You get out of it what you put into it. So, if I can't be there for a certain moment, it sucks for all of us. Yeah. But then they understand also, well, hey, sometimes you can't do everything you want to do, and sometimes you got to do what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point right there.
I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did because my question is since time management seems to be a lot of people's issues today.
Yeah.
Like with your agency, like what's your go-to boot camp method for a brand new artist to push them to their full potential, especially in a city where competition is intensifying? Because there's tons of new hip hop acts that you're telling me. Yeah. But like time management, before they even come to you, if they come to you late or they do any, like what things will you tolerate and what things won't you tolerate from a new artist?
Well, to the first part, like the boot camp part, I love that. That's great, man. But because we deal with all levels, right? So first thing is like really figuring out where the artist stands in their career, right? Because some artists will come to us and they'll have a ton of music, right? And we'll be like, okay, and they're like, I'm putting out music, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, okay, do you have a PRO? What's that? You're not signed to BMI or ASCAP or you're not registered at all. Like, no, I've put out 100 songs. I'm like, so you're just throwing music out, right? So some of that stuff is like backtracking, making sure they get their business in order. And then some artists come to us and they have all that together. They have, all their business in order. They have a fan base. They're moving, but they can't figure out how to capitalize off their fan base. They're like, how do where's the disconnect? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not making money yet. Why am I not making money? Like, what am I doing wrong? Or I'm making a little money. Like, how can I make more? And that's where we come into play and kind of show them like, look, man, like, let's figure out smart ways to stay consistent, to engage with your audience, and to really, hone in and figure out where the streams of revenue are, and then really go hard on those streams to make sure that we can start building, and getting a return on your investment, because a lot of guys, this is an expensive business, man. It's like you just keep dumping money, and and that's the majority of these artists, they want to play make believe, and I hate to say it, but they want to pretend like they're doing this. They want to look like it. They don't want to do the work to actually get where they need to be. And then a lot of them, think they want to do the work. And once they start doing the work and they start having to spend their money and they realize, holy shit, like,
this is
like it's never ending. No, it's like even when you're successful, it still costs you every day. Like you still got to spend. And like I don't know any business. A lot of artists look at it like, well, why do I need to have a marketing budget? Why does McDonald's advertise? Everyone knows who McDonald's is.
Right.
Like I know what a Big Mac. You know what? Like everyone knows.
The commercials.
Dude, there's still billboards, commercials, everything. There's still constant. They're still doing endorsement deals with big artists. Why?
Right.
Because they have to. It's about out of sight, out of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to continuously rebuild yourself, rebrand, stay in their face, and be consistent with your content.
In this day and time, with artists, as we're speaking about, you know, A&R and managing the stuff, how, in your opinion, and what you're seeing, how long does it take for an artist to fall off? Like, if they hadn't came out with no music, and like how long does it take for them to be like, oh, well,
about a day?
That's what it feel like.
Man, it can happen overnight, man. Like it really is like one of those things to where if you're not staying consistent, not putting out good music, and not doing things to keep people's attention, people are quick to go somewhere else. You know, people are so fast to like forget that you had that record, you know, and I'm working with artists right now that were bubbling.
Right.
Like, I mean, moving, man, like signed big record deals. I'm not going to say any names, but had record deals, had situations working with huge people, Nipsey Hussle, Rick Ross, all these people, and they can't get anyone to book them. They can't get anyone to answer their calls, and they're wondering why. And it's like, because you disappeared. You got quiet for too long. You went back. Now we have to do it all over again. The good thing is, though, is you have a name. So you can still go and you just got to heat up real quick. We got to go do some really dope things, spice it up, get people's interest, and then we turn around and now it's time to ask for money.
So what would you say, like 30 days, 90 days?
Nah,
like if you never hear from them, 3 months, or how long does it take for them to be like?
I would say a good 6 months to a year. If you haven't done anything and you're just quiet, and it's that really also depends on, it's because it's really hard to say, but it depends on the caliber of the artist, like how often they drop, how many fans they actually have. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're talking about like a smaller tier artist, I mean, they can leave tomorrow and most people wouldn't even care. You know what I'm saying? But like someone that has an established fan base that may drop, you know, they might drop an album twice a year, which is rare. But you know, even that, like you're gone for a year and then you might try to come back and you might have a hard time, you know, re-kickstarting that vehicle.
So let me ask you something. Is it more of a brand issue when they have that leave of absence, or is it more of a financial issue? Because off camera, we were mentioning, we were talking about like you accepting people with money. They have the money, but their brand ain't there. So they're like, well, you make it happen. You know,
well, that's the thing is you can't buy your way into this business, right? Like people really think that they can just throw money at this and they're going to become famous, and it doesn't work that way. Now you can build a shit ton. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we cuss on?
No, go ahead.
Okay, we can build a ton of awareness for you and get you real visible. But your music still got to be good. Like people still got to want to hear what you're doing. People still got to, you know, they got to connect with you somehow.
Right.
So if it comes down to, if you're an asshole and you're putting out this music, but people are hitting you up like, man, I love this song, and you don't say nothing, or they're seeing you out and they're like, hey man, can I get a picture? And you're like, man, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're one of them, people are like, man, you don't have that many chances. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you really have to connect. It's about building that relationship with people who rock with you, because why do I need to listen to your music? There's millions of artists out here.
And that goes to what we were talking about Coi Leray.
Yeah.
And her fan base, because they put her in front of Chris Brown's, and everybody was just looking like, who is this? Well, you're Benzino's daughter. But still, that wasn't enough. Like, because people were just hounding her, talking about, you know, she's not a real artist. Her music blase, but she was getting her feelings hurt. But the bottom line is, it's brand. I don't think she had an established brand. That was Chris Brown's brand. Everybody else who was there to listen to Chris Brown, not you. It was just like a DJ slick throwing in an independent artist in the middle of a commercial artist. You're like, I'm gonna see how this does, and I'm gonna pull it out if it ain't doing nothing. And I really respect that. So like, let's talk about like you managing them in a sense. Do you think like he was saying, A&R, the traditional artist development, still holds value, especially in Nashville, because they said in 2024, 65% of successful Nashville acts had to rely on management.
I mean, I would say artist development is extremely needed, right? Like it's so put it this way. So like when I was younger, right? And I don't think we're too far off in age, but I think maybe when we were all younger, it was harder to get into the music industry, right? Like it was like getting into the league, right? So it's like you look at an NBA player, he can't just wake up one day and be like, you know what, pass me that ball, man. I'm gonna go play NBA, right? I'm gonna go be on the Bulls. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't become a professional athlete just because you want to and wake up and feel like it, right? But why you can do that with music, right? Now you can do it. You can wake up tomorrow and be like, you know what, I feel like making a song and I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna go to a DSP, I'm gonna distribute, it's gonna be all over, and I'm gonna promote it that I'm an artist now. And I feel like that kind of started hurting us because now we don't have artist development, right? Like we don't have the artists as when we were younger that were taking the craft seriously. They were dedicated. They appreciated it. They loved it, right? This is an art. It's like, appreciate this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like have some love, acknowledge what it's doing for you. Right. And and these guys are like, oh, they're so quick. They just want the money. When they get the money, it's like, okay, that's beautiful. You got some money. I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at that point, you should be like, you know what? I don't need to go to the streets no more. I'm feeding my family off of this. Let me get serious. Let me show some love to this craft. Let me dedicate myself to it, which doesn't happen anymore. So it's really labels depending on stats, analytics. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're seeing so many artists that are trending on TikTok or whatever, and then, and then
the algorithm, man. It's like, who can check the algorithm? He hates it.
I think it's frustrating because I'm kind of like you. I've got an old school mentality when it comes to like talent. Like you said, man, in the 90s, early 2000s, like it really was hard to get in the industry. And when you got in, you had some type of talent, something unique about you that even there's still albums I'm still playing to this day. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the feel. But like now in this time, like I said, it's kind of like a gift and a curse because like you said, you can wake up, make a hit, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and just throw it online, you know what I'm saying, and boom, now you're little mook, little Ray, and then you shot your little video real quick, you know what I'm saying, with the driving. Well, that's another thing that frustrates me. The driving camera, you know what I mean, 360s, and now it's like, okay, now you're here, and it's like, and then see, I think artist development is important because without it, to me, I feel like these new age artists, they sound the same. It's hard for me to tell. You throw that auto-tune behind it, and then
you don't hear it. You can't tell where anybody's from anymore.
And do you think that's because of a lack of developing as an artist?
I think it has a lot to do with the lack of development. I think it has a lot to do with the lack of creativity. And being an individual. I think I don't know if you ever did music or if you thought about it, but at some point when you start creating music and you're young, you haven't found yourself yet. So you're just kind of mimicking what's out there, you know what I'm saying? But that was the difference between back then, right? So you would hear like I think Method Man or Redman said they used to write like Rakim or someone, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, oh, that was my, you know what I'm saying? So they would mimic that, but at some point they found themselves as an artist, right? They found their sound. They got with RZA and he brought it out of them, and they created this sound that was unique, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's Method Man." You know what I'm saying? Like that's DMX, that's Pac. You know what I'm saying? Like because they found their selves, their character.
Right.
And I feel like without development, with everything being so available and so quick to just be able to put out there, that we're getting artists at the rawest points, right? They haven't even figured out how to record yet.
Yeah.
They don't even know how to stay on beat yet. They don't know how to do overdubs yet. They're not, they don't know how to punch in. They don't know how to, breath control. They don't know anything about performing. They're holding the mic at the top. They're, you know what I'm saying? They're not really, they're rapping over a track. They're walking back and forth, not even really rapping their song or spitting lyrics. It's like, that is development. You know what I'm saying? All that comes with time and putting the effort in to be better at the craft. And that's what I'm saying is that's what we're lacking is the people that care enough about the craft to want to develop themselves and develop and get as sharp as they can before they get in front of an audience. Everyone wants that immediate attention, so they're skipping those steps just so they can get popular.
Mario jumping.
Right. Instead of, so you feel like this generation lacks a sense of discipline.
Oh man, damn! Hold on. Yikes, that was totally different, bro. I guess you could say.
Discipline.
I'm not gonna say this generation. I'm gonna say a lot of the artists. I think it's and it might not even be the damn. He put it on a whole generation. It might not be. I mean, discipline. I guess you know what I'm saying, but I think it's patience more. You know what I'm saying? Like being patient enough to say, you know what, it might take me 5 years to get really good at what I'm doing and go out there, then put my music out, right? Like let me go to some writers camp. Let me go do some open mics. Let me go, link up with other artists and get in the studio and learn how to create. You know what I'm saying? Like instead they're like, oh wait, a Pro Tools rig is how much I can get, oh shit, I can buy this, I can buy a laptop and record on GarageBand. Like mom, dad, they're 15 years old. Mom, dad, can you buy me a a laptop and MacBook and I want to, you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, they're an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're putting out music and they're putting the artwork out and they're popping up on your release radar next to other art, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did this even make it to, you know what I'm saying? But there is no quality control. There's no, even DSP should be out there being like, nope, flagging this. Like, it's not good enough, not good enough quality. Not, you know what I'm saying? There should be some type of
standard or something. Like, it just seems like we're just out there shooting.
Oh, they don't care because it's like, they're like, okay, well, that's just another song that's streaming. And even if it's making, $10 here and there, it's like millions of pennies start adding up. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit's just adding up for them. The artists will never see it, but.
So it's really, for you, it's quality over quantity.
Definitely. I mean, dog, we gotta get better with what we're putting out there and what we're feeding the fans, man. Like it's too much of that garbage, man. It's too much. And it just gets overlooked. Like you don't really listen to it. You know what I'm saying? If it's not good, you don't want it.
No, let me ask you something. Like, let's talk about like some people like, I hate to say it, but Kanye West. Okay, this Vultures 2 album, everybody was so disappointed. I'm sure you was disappointed into it. Because it's like he dumped his standards. We know where he's from.
I hadn't gave it a chance to be disappointed yet. I'm waiting till it calm down. Go ahead, though.
But I'm just saying, like, when we see respected artists from our time dumbing down because it's the trend, rapping off beat, I'm like, you used to rap on beat. And I'm thinking to myself, did they sell themselves out? Are they trying so hard to stay relevant? Or should they just say, you know what, let me maintain my dignity and find something else to...
No, I mean, I don't even know, man. Like, because to us, it's like we know what they're capable of, right? But then if they were still making music like that, people would be like, dog, like, what are you stuck in 2004, bro? Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, where do you find that balance, right? Like, it's like where you're still staying within what's relevant. Because I don't want to seem like I'm the old head bashing all the young kids, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a shitload of talent out here right now. A ton of new artists that are coming out that are, I mean, they've got it. You know what I'm saying? They get it. They understand it. I'm shitting on the artists that don't take it serious. I'm not shitting on the whole generation or young artists or anything like that. I'm talking about artists that do not take this craft serious, old or young, right? The ones who just, it's okay to do this as a hobby, right? There's nothing wrong with saying this is a hobby. But once you start putting yourself amongst it, saying this is my career and I'm a, you know, like, and you start pushing yourself into this lane, dog, you better be prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this shit is serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to make a living off of this. We're trying to feed our babies off of this. Like, don't come in here fucking it up for us. Don't come in here oversaturating it, getting in the way of the bags because you can get 1 million people to follow you on TikTok, but you can't make a good song. Like, you're gonna be out of here next week.
Woo! Yeah, thank you. Says a lot of things. Like, man. That's why Killer Mike won a Grammy.
He deserved it.
But then they're over there saying, "Who's Killer Mike?" Travis Scott should have got it. That's what they were saying. What? But
a lot of them were.
But anyways, like the topics, like we have to conclude this, gentlemen. Like, but like I said, unless there's something else you want to add to it, because
I know we spoke about a lot.
We spoke about a lot. So, like the topics, once again, for the people out there, we discussed early influences and local challenges in Nashville, the transition and growth through Capo's eyes in Nashville's music scene, the evolution of Nashville's urban music scene, and the future outlook. Like, so to conclude all of this, what would you like to see Nashville artists, starting artists, do based on your experience?
Well, I mean, like going back to, you know, earlier in Nashville, right? Like there was a lot of movements, right? There was, you know, Lido or All-Star at the time with Grey Goose. He was out there. He was, every club was playing him. He was handing out mixtapes, you know, at football games. And, you know what I'm saying? He was out there hustling. I remember I used to bump into Jelly Roll selling CDs at the gas station. Like me and him would be out there. He'd pull up on me. I'm like, bro, I'm here today. Oh, shit, I'm going down the block. You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, Bang Out Entertainment had a fucking roster of people that were just killing it. Bezel Gang were kids out there making noise, putting in work, creating a buzz. Cashville Ace had keys to the Chevy. He had one of the strongest runs, dog, that the city had seen. Felonious Records killed it. Kwani Cash, Paper had one of the an amazing run. These guys were living what they were talking about. That's why it resonated with people. It was so relevant because people understood it, right? And they could feel it, and they knew him from where they were from. Like they know him. Like I went to school with him, or I see him down here, and it wasn't fake. That's why people loved it, because it was like that is him. You know what I'm saying? And is what I want to see the new artists. Like I say all that because at that time you had to pay to record. You had to pay to, you know, duplicate your music to put it out. You had to pay for artwork. You had to, you know what I'm saying? There were so many levels to it. And it was called investing in yourself. You're a business. Your music is your business. Right? So I don't know anybody that can open up a business without putting $1 into it. You have to invest in your craft. And I feel like that's where we're falling short. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and there's an argument, you know, the city, like I said before, is we're battling against Memphis, you know, and country music here. So that's why the urban scene or the hip hop doesn't get enough, you know, shine. But if we start doing things a little bit different in the sense of being more professional, improving ourselves, then, you know, sky's the limit, man. We can do the exact same thing as these other markets, but we have to have an identity. We have to have a sound. We have to be true to what we do and talk about the sides of Nashville that haven't been seen, that haven't been spoke about. You know what I'm saying? Buck put us on a national platform when he came out, and he can only one man can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? So,
true.
and you know, whatever people say about it, you know what I'm saying? That man came from where he came from and did the best he could with the opportunity he had. And he's learned a lot from the years. And I'm sure he burned his hand on that stove and was like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do that again. But everyone else that's watching should pay attention and say, you know what? Now we know not to do this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? And that goes with every artist. You know, we watch what Lito's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I respect Lito to death. Like, that dude is a genuine guy. Not only genuine, but he's a smart businessman. So yeah, man, we just need to get about our business. We need to learn how to invest in ourselves and take the craft seriously.
Well, you have anything else?
Hey, man, you know, man, that boy Capo, man, I'm telling you. I appreciate, because you're saying a lot of stuff I always been thinking, and side conversations we always have. We always talk about music and the entertainment industry, but like, I just appreciate your mind on that, and really just that. The main thing I really liked about it was just you were speaking on, you know, the development part. I've always been. I mean, we had an artist of our own, you know what I'm saying, an R&B singer, and that's exactly what we did. Like the whole A&R thing. I mean, in the hot ass garage, if we didn't have a mic, we'll have a popsicle stick or a spoon. Like, this is your mic. We're gonna work on your breathing here. Hey, pay attention to this crowd. Hey, there's a girl over there. She's looking at you. What you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man, and I hope the people out there are listening and knowing that, you know, I mean, yeah, music is great. I mean, I'm glad everybody wants to make it, but like, it's just how much do you care about the music to where you want to, you know, better yourself. You know what I'm saying? That development. You want to get better every time, you know, and even at the start of it, you know, I hope these kids out here would just take this knowledge and better yourself, develop yourself, etiquette yourself in this industry so you can have longevity. And we appreciate you, bro.
No doubt,
I'm glad we got you up in here, man.
Appreciate
It's
you
been a
too,
long
man.
time coming.
I know, right?
Real talk.
I'm going to say it. He don't have to say it, but I'm going to say it. This generation needs to respect the craft. It's because they lack discipline. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to maintain your discipline. You got to actually study the craft. You actually got to work on your techniques before you go to Capo.
Yeah.
Don't come to him rapping off beat. Don't come to him. It's not mixed and mastered. The tracks aren't. And don't come to him just sloppy. Come to him on time. Have respect for him and have respect for yourself. I'm Josh Lovett. And this is Clean Cut Conversations, the podcast for exceptional Southern Black men, and I'm out. Do you want to share your story? Well, join us at Clean Cut Conversations. Let's talk mental health, relationships, finance, self-care, and entrepreneurship. Your voice matters, so let's make a difference together.